Here's what's coming soon to my YouTube channel.
A winner? Winner take all. Good. Yes, it's winner take all with songs and dances by Betty Jane Watson, Jerry Austin, and Howard Malone, with music and surprises, questions and prizes. And your winner take all host, Mary Gray.
Hi. A happy Thursday to you. Gosh, and it's nice to see you all so bright, washed, and bathed. I don't know about how large the audience is, but they're the cleanest audience you've ever seen. Soap sponsors, attention. Well, I just heard that big laugh, and if you don't mind, I'll leave early. We've got a champion by the name of Mrs. Grace Bulkley on Winner Take All of Norwalk, Connecticut.
Coming soon to a YouTube channel near you.
Time now for everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line? Throughout the world, only one company produces all types of business machines and systems, Remington Rand, who now invite you to play What's My Line?
Now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now one of the very nicest, most ingratiating men in our profession, Mr. Fred Allen.
Our next panelist, ladies and gentlemen, is the popular newspaper columnist, and I have a scoop for her tonight. And the scoop is that it was so cold today that they had to put a toupee on Old Baldy. And here she is, not Old Baldy, but Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Terribly worried for a minute, Fred. And now I would like to introduce a gentleman who is not only publisher of Random House, but I hope important enough for TWA to wait for tonight because he's catching the plane for California the minute that this program is over. Mr. Bennett, sir.
Well, in one of his columns this week, Mr. Jack O'Brien referred to me as a well-adjusted ham. Well, this is a case of a ham introducing a very good egg. Our panel moderator, Mr. John Charles Davis.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line and panel. I have some news for you.
Oh, no.
All right.
You don't have to put on any blindfolds. No. I guess there's something masochistic or something about me. I love to keep you on tenterhooks about that. Actually, tonight we're up to our old tricks and in the old style. We have some very interesting occupations and some very nice people attached to them. And we think they're going to be difficult enough to give you a lot of trouble all by themselves. We'll have a mystery challenger, a famous guest challenger a bit later on. But right now, let's see what you can do with the first challenger whose line has to be spotted. Will you come in and sign in, please, ma'am? Spring is here. Listen to the birds. Matika Hartley, is that right? It's a very fine, firm, bold hand. Is it Miss or Mrs.?
Miss.
It's Mrs., and Spring fled right out of the window. Well, now, I tell you, we'd like to give the panel a chance to know you a bit better. So, first of all, where are you from?
Bermuda.
Bermuda? Oh, wonderful. It's nice to have you. Are you a British cousin, or are you an American in Bermuda?
A British.
You're a British cousin. Well, cousin, it's nice to have you with us. Now, would you be good enough to take a walk in front of the panel so they get a close look at you?
Pleasure, Miss Hartley.
Hello, Mrs. Hartley.
All right, Mrs. Hartley, if you'll come over here, please, and sit down next to me. I have to ask you, first of all, if you're familiar with our scoring system, are you?
Yes.
You know how we score the program? Then if you will just abide with me for a moment, we'll let the people at home and those who are here with us in the theater know exactly what your line is. Panel, because spring is nearly here and we're full of the fine, full sap and juices of spring and want to be kind, why, we'll tell you that Mrs. Hartley is self-employed, and we'll begin the general questioning with Miss Francis.
Mrs. Hartley, do you work outdoors at all?
Yes.
Do you work near or on the water in any way in your job?
Yes.
Is there anything to do with instruction in your job?
Let's have a conference.
Die for one.
Come forward just a bit, would you? I think you'd be more comfortable.
Her hair is just arranged properly for a conference call. I said Mrs. Hartley has a right-handed ponytail, which is just right for your conference setup.
Fred, I wouldn't be able to surmount the difficulties otherwise. Yes, I think Mrs. Hartley agrees that there is an element of instruction involved. Yes, Miss Francis.
Uh-huh. Do you have anything to do with water skiing, Mrs. Hartley?
No.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Allen.
Do you have anything to do with instructing? Is there any entertainment involved in your instructions? Do you entertain people?
Yes.
I would say that it would have, as an end result, some quotient of entertainment as well as instruction, wouldn't
Well,
you?
if you're in the water, you must keep your end up, John. I mean, the end result is very important. If there's any entertainment involved. Well, do you cater to tourists in any way?
Yes.
Do you perform in some sort of a water show of some nature?
In a way, yes.
Well, it's not a dry water show, a show with no water on it.
No.
Is it, are you involved with other people? Do you have a complete show, or do you appear as an individual?
That is almost impossible to answer yes or no, Fred. You'd have to break that down into its several component parts.
Well, do you work with a group of people?
Yes, I would say you work with a group of people.
It's not a sport. I mean, it is presented as an entertainment.
Yes. It's not a sport.
Is it in a pool?
No.
That's 2 down and 8 to go. And I would remind the panel again that I said there is an element of instruction, there is an element of entertainment involved. Miss Kilgallen.
Do you wear a more abbreviated costume when you work than you're wearing now, Mrs. Hartley? Yes. In other words, nothing terrible would happen if you fell into the water? No. If I were a visitor arriving in Bermuda, might you be one of the first things I saw? No.
That makes it 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Siff.
They're making a mistake, that's all I can say.
Mrs. Hartley, there are a myriad of beautiful fish in the corals around Bermuda. Do you have anything to do with showing people those schools of strangely colored fish?
Yes.
Well, do you possibly go out in one of these glass-bottom boats and show people the fish through the bottoms?
No.
Oh.
That's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Right.
But you do show people the mysteries of the secret world under the sea, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you do any skin diving?
No.
How do you show them these mysteries?
You know, I'm
With a
going to get
telescope?
murdered if this question and answer goes on much longer. Actually, I will say this, and I think Mrs. Hartley will allow me to say it. You're all very close at the moment. You are not using the exact terminology, although Miss Arlene a moment ago, just in a general observation, might have been described as using rather exact terminology.
I did. What did I say a moment ago, John?
Never mind.
Come on.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Allen.
The secret world.
Do you show these on a television show of some sort.
Oh, there it is. Fred's got it, hasn't he? No, he hasn't got it. He's got it, but he hasn't got it. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, do you show them whatever you show them in the flesh or in whatever it is?
With the baby.
Well, to the degree that what she shows them has any flesh, we would agree that they see the flesh, yes.
That's what I mean. It isn't just a picture of anything.
No, it's the real thing.
Are you, in any sense, connected with an aquarium?
No.
No.
Oh, you're self-employed.
Couldn't go to an aquarium. 7 down and 3 to go. I'm going to give you another 30 seconds.
Do you wear one of these masks or diver's helmets that enable you to go underneath the water yourself while people watch you
Yes.
swimming around with the fish?
Not swimming. No, she just
diving
goes down
and
walks.
go.
Actually, I would say, let me flip the rest of the cards. I think that you are close enough so that you may take satisfaction from basically getting exactly what it is that Mrs. Hartley does. To be exact, she conducts tours underwater with her husband, where these schools of fish and the marine life all abound around in Bermuda's water.
They don't swim, they just walk around?
They actually, yes, they wear a special diving suit, and they walk around on the bottom. So
Not on the water, Dorothy.
a diving helmet.
Diving helmet, a bathing
And they
suit.
walk around on the bottom of the...
And what do the other people do?
They float upside down and send messages home. Mrs. Hartley, I think on particulars we've befuddled them beautifully, and we do thank you. It's nice to have had a British cousin with us and watch my line. Good night. That didn't give us as much trouble as we thought it would, panel, so we'll probably give you more trouble now. Let's see what you can do with another challenger. Will you come in and sign in, please, sir? William Neely. William Neely, is that right? Where are you from, Mr. Neely?
Denver, Colorado.
Denver, Colorado. Well, it's nice to have you here with us, sir. I was out that way not too long ago. They ran me out of town, but in a nice way, you know. I'll run you down in front of the panel, if I may. And they'll run you out in a nice way, too.
Hi, Mr. Neely.
Neely, how are you?
How are you, Mr. Neely? Strong? Boy, you look strong.
That's all, Miss Francis. Mr. Neely,
Conference
over here,
going on over
please.
here, John.
Mr. Neely, are you familiar with our scoring system?
Yes, sir.
Good. In that event, let's let the people at home and our friends here know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, Mr. Neely is also self-employed. And let's begin the general questioning with Fred Allen.
Mr. Neely? I'm not laughing for any particular reason, John. I have no reason. I mean, that's why I'm laughing, actually. Mr. Neely, do you deal in services?
Yes, sir.
Could I come to you for your services?
You might.
Would what you do improve me in any way?
Well, I would say that, yes, you know, well, anything helps, you know, Fred?
In my case, yes, anything would be. Could women avail themselves of your services?
They do.
Well, if they do, that's news to me, Mr. Neely. If you performed your services for Dorothy and Arlene, would we be able to notice a difference?
Possibly.
We'd be black and blue from what I've seen of Mr. Neely.
Would we notice the difference from the neck up? From the...
No.
Well, now, wait a minute. Let me have a small conference. This actually, Fred, we're trying to be fair.
What?
For the first time. This is an innovation, John.
It's an innovation, but spring is coming, you know. Actually, I would say this, that if Mr. Neely were to provide his services to Miss Francis and Miss Kilgallen, and you were to restrict these services to the area from the neck up, we would assume, reasonably, that you might be aware that such service had been administered.
Could I ask you a question, John?
Yes, Mr. Allen.
Have you been invited to the Grace Kelly wedding?
No, I have not.
Well, in the process of performing his services, does Mr. Neely, do you touch the people in any way?
Yes,
You do. You put your hands on them?
that's right.
From the neck up? From the neck up.
If that were the area of interest, yes.
Do you, does it require any special education to enable you to perform your services?
It certainly does.
Well, I would say this. Now, we have a term of reference on the program, Mr. Neely, whereby this question normally requires that there be a graduate degree as a result of special education.
Some medical.
Yeah, and there is not a graduate degree involved here, so with your permission, we'll give it a no answer. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, I take it then that there is some special training, at any rate, that most of us have not had that enables Mr. Neely to do whatever it is he does.
That's right.
If one of us came to Mr. Neely for his services, would it be required that he touch us in some way? In other words, your work is more physical than mental or spiritual.
It would be very hard to draw the line, since you asked the question specifically with respect to physical contact. Let us leave it this way. Physical contact is necessary, but I would not be willing to describe this as more physical than mental.
I see. Well, that's very interesting. It's not very revealing, but it's very interesting.
And
are you then something other than a person in the area of practicing or something like that? You're outside that area. You do something different from that.
That's right.
Do you talk to the people when you do whatever it is you do?
Yes.
Could you do it?
Very friendly man. Yes.
Do you do it indoors?
Yes, ma'am.
You mean talk to them?
Whatever it is.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Could you touch any other part of the body besides from the neck up?
Certainly.
Well, would it be...
Mr. Neely is blushing.
Mr. Neely's having hysterics, so much.
Would it be relevant if you did?
Would it be what?
A relative,
Relevant.
if you did? Well, it would all
Relevant.
depend, either by marriage or otherwise. It would be relevant,
Yes.
Miss Dorothy, yes.
Do these people go away feeling better or looking better?
Usually.
Mr. Neely would like to think so.
Is it more feeling better than looking better?
Here we are, and there you go, at the crossroads, yes. I would think here that we are treading a very fine line, but because of the particular aspects of the service, I would think we'd give you a no on that answer there. That's 2 down and 8 to go. I'm going to give you one more minute, Mr. Sir.
Judging by that answer, people look better and do not feel better. Is that correct? I just
Not
want to be sure.
necessarily the negative in the latter part. I think because of the specific nature of the service, we would put the emphasis on look rather than feel.
Mr. Neely, do you manipulate people in any way with your hands? Do you use your hands in any kind of a massaging or soothing fashion on the people that you touch?
No.
No, I wouldn't think so. 3 down and 7 to go. Miss Francis, you want to
So
try?
you touch them for reasons other than massage or soothing or chiropractic or all that sort of thing. You
I
touch
would
them
say
for
so.
other reasons.
That's right.
Well, there's an interesting profession. Does it ever hypnotize them in any way?
It might.
Mr. Neely is Bridie Murphy.
I am hypnotized. I'm going to flip the cards panel because I don't think you're close. Mr. Neely is a tattoo artist.
Uh-huh.
He tattoos. Oh, my. He's the only...
Oh, John, you should have ruled out feel better.
Well, if you want to have something
I did
tattooed on
everything
you, it
that I
might make
could
you
to
feel
rule it
better.
out, except that people who have been tattooed, who want to be tattooed, feel better because they are tattooed.
Oh, I think he had designs on all of us, John.
plug for the rose tattoo.
This is... No, we weren't even going to mention. Mr. Neely, we tied him in knots. And thank you very much, sir. It's nice to have had you with us on What's My Line. Congratulations. Hold it for this particular part of the program. The blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, Mr.
Good.
Neely.
Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery celebrity, we go to a different form of questioning. You ask one question at a time in turn, moving clockwise. And we begin it all with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Well, I thought Marilyn Monroe had gone back to Hollywood. Are you in motion pictures?
Yes, yes, I am in motion pictures.
Mr. Cerf?
Sure, that's a girl's voice. Are you a lady who has been a star in motion pictures?
Well, I like to think that I've been, yes.
Miss Francis?
Are you appearing in a picture now, currently on Broadway?
No, not currently.
One down and 9 to go, Mr. Allen.
Do you sing?
Oh, yes, I do a little song, I do a little dancing. I make you laugh.
Well, Miss Kilgallen.
Have you also been in the theater?
Oh, yes, I've been in the theater.
Mr. Cerf.
Sounds like Hildegard. Have you ever played in musical comedies on Broadway?
Yes, I've been in musical comedy.
Well, are you in a musical comedy now?
Oh, no.
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Allen.
Have you ever sung with a band?
Yes.
Miss Kilgallen.
Do you have any records that are, or any record that is in the jukeboxes now?
Yes, I have one right now.
Mr. Cerf.
Oh, Lord, this isn't my field. Is the band that you have sung with still playing around the country?
Yes.
Miss Francis?
Are you a blonde?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Allen?
Are you Betty Hutton?
Miss Bailey, I want to show you why my work is so nice. Miss Hutton was nervous, and this is the way we overcame it. Isn't that wonderful? And Mrs. Daly, don't you mind now. Oh, that was wonderful, Miss Betty. I think you had them thoroughly confused, except they covered so much ground, and there are so very few people who have done so much in all of these areas that I was afraid they were going to catch up.
Well, I was sure Dorothy would get it. But, Fred, I'm glad you...
Miss Betty, what is your current status? Are you retired or unretired?
No, I'm unretired.
Unretired.
Yes.
Actually, I would say, if I may interject a word here, Miss Betty is unretired and is busier now doing something that I think gives her more pleasure than anything else she's ever done. Suppose you talk about the City of Hope, which is why she's in New York.
Yes, John, I'm here on behalf of the City of Hope. I was elected Mother of the Year to go all over America to make people conscious of this wonderful foundation. And I'm here on behalf of the children's wing, the leukemia wing. And, of course, you all know that this is a fatal disease. And this is an especially wonderful foundation because not only do they care for the children, but for the mothers and the fathers. They are welcomed to the hospital. They live with the babies until, of course, as you know, they're going to die. And the wonderful thing is when the new mothers and fathers come in with their child, the other mothers and fathers remain with them and take them through this terrible time. And we are trying to raise money for research for leukemia. And I was sure, John, that on your show I would meet all the lovely people out there and they would send their contribution to the City of Hope in care of my name in Los Angeles.
This is John Daly saying good night, Miss Arlene.
We should ask our audience, John, if they'd write in. Maybe they'd like us to cut down the walk back and forth so we could get in another contestant.
That's probably a good idea if I
Why don't you write
timed it
in if
better.
you'd like to have that happen? We'd like to have it happen. Good night, friend.
Good night, Arlene. Good night, Dorothy.
Good night, Dennis.
John, I'm going to have a few questions to ask you about that tattoo artist.
Good night.
Good night. Have a nice trip to the coast. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us on What's My Line?
Travel arrangements on What's My Line are made through American Airlines. American Airlines flies our contestants in luxurious comfort aboard DC-7 flagships. This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Trodman production in association with the CBS television network. Be sure to watch Remington Rand's new television program, Caesar's Hour, on another network. Check your newspaper listings for time and station.
Is this... Salute to the bygone era of classic...